I always thought my life was perfect. I had a successful career, a beautiful home, and a wife I adored. Every morning I woke up next to Claire, her body warm against mine, and I would think to myself how lucky I was. But lately, something had been gnawing at me, a feeling I couldn't shake. It started as a whisper, a nagging doubt that crept into my thoughts when I least expected it. I'm not one to ignore my instincts. I'm meticulous, the kind of person who plans everything down to the last detail. Control is something I thrive on, and when I love deeply. Claire is my world, or at least she was. We've been together for years, building a life that most would envy. Our friends often commented on how perfect we seemed, how in sync we were with each other. But even the closest couples have secrets. Our social circle is tight-knit. We host dinners, attend events, and vacation together. Everyone knows everyone's business, or so they think. I've always been the one with the answers, the one people turn to for advice. Claire and I had become the couple others looked up to, the standard by which relationships were measured. That's why it didn't make sense, this creeping doubt that something wasn't right between us. Claire has always been attentive, affectionate even. But recently I noticed a change, a subtle shift in her behavior. She became more guarded with her phone, taking it with her everywhere, even into the bathroom. At first I dismissed it as paranoia, a byproduct of the stress at work. But the unease lingered, growing stronger each day. Then last night, everything changed. We were lying in bed, the room dark except for the soft glow of her phone screen. She thought I was asleep, but I wasn't. I watched her, the way her fingers danced over the screen, a small smile playing on her lips. That smile, it wasn't meant for me. My chest tightened as I fought to keep my breathing steady. I knew I had to see what was on that screen. This morning, I waited until she was in the shower. I don't know what I was expecting, but when I picked up her phone, my heart pounded so hard I could hear it in my ears. I swiped the screen and there it was, a text message. Just a few words, but they were enough to send my world spiraling out of control. I didn't even realize I had dropped the phone until I heard it hit the floor. My hands were shaking, my mind racing. I wanted to confront her, to demand an explanation, but something held me back. Maybe it was the shock, or maybe it was the realization that everything I thought I knew was a lie. Now I'm sitting here staring at the closed bathroom door, my thoughts a chaotic mess. How long has this been going on? Who is he? My perfect life, my perfect marriage. Was it all just a facade? Claire comes out of the bathroom wrapped in a towel, her hair still damp. She glances at me with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, her phone clutched in my hand, the damning text message still open. She freezes when she sees it, the color draining from her face. The room is heavy with the tension that has been building for weeks, and now it's about to snap. Whose text is this? My voice is calm, too calm. I can see the gears turning in her mind, searching for an excuse, a lie that might save her. She hesitates, and in that moment, I know. The truth is laid bare in her silence, in the way she suddenly looks so small, so afraid. My heart feels like it's being crushed in a vice, but I refuse to let the pain show. I need to keep control. Control is everything. It's not what you think, she finally says, but we both know that's a lie. Her voice is barely above a whisper, and I can see her eyes darting around, looking for an escape. Don't, I say, standing up and closing the distance between us. Don't lie to me, Claire. Not now. Just tell me the truth. She looks at me and I can see the tears welling up. But I'm past caring about her tears. I need the truth, and I need it now. She takes a deep breath, and when she speaks, her voice is trembling. It's been going on for a few months, she admits. But it's over now, I swear. It didn't mean anything. Who is he? I cut her off, the anger rising in my chest like a tidal wave. I can't stand the thought of another man touching her, of her being with someone else. His name is Mark, she says, and the name hits me like a punch to the gut. Mark. I know him. We've had drinks together. He's been in our home. I turn away, trying to process the betrayal, the layers of deception. My mind is spinning, but one thing becomes clear in the chaos. I can't just let this go. I won't. You think it's over? I ask, my back still to her. You think you can just end it and we'll go back to the way things were? Please, let's talk about this, she pleads, but her voice is fading into the background as my thoughts take over. Images flash through my mind. Claire in Mark's arms, their whispered conversations, the secret meetings. My fists clench, and I can feel the rage bubbling up, threatening to boil over. I turn back to her, and for a moment, I see fear in her eyes. Good. She should be afraid. She has no idea what she's unleashed. I'm not going to just let this go, Claire, I say, my voice cold and steady. You and Mark, you're going to pay for this, both of you. She opens her mouth to protest, but I cut her off. Get dressed, we're going out. She hesitates, confused. Where are we going? Just get dressed, I repeat, and she can tell from my tone that I'm not in the mood for questions. She nods, her hands trembling as she pulls on her clothes. I watch her, my mind already formulating a plan. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I know one thing for certain. This isn't going to end with a simple apology. As we drive in silence, I can feel the weight of what's happening pressing down on us. Claire keeps glancing at me, her eyes wide with fear and confusion. She tries to speak a few times, but each time she stops herself, sensing that this isn't the moment to push me. I pull up to a bar on the outskirts of town. It's a dive, the kind of place where no one asks questions. Claire looks at me with uncertainty as I park the car, but she doesn't protest. I get out and open the door for her, guiding her inside with a firm hand on her lower back. The bar is dimly lit, with the stench of stale beer and cigarette smoke hanging in the air. It's not crowded, just a few regulars hunched over their drinks. I pick a booth in the back, away from prying eyes. Claire sits across from me, her hands clasped tightly together, her eyes searching mine for some sign of what's going to happen next. I order a drink, whiskey, straight, and watch her as she fidgets in her seat. When the bartender brings my drink, I take a long, slow sip, savoring the burn as it goes down. I need it to steady my nerves, to clear my head. This isn't going to be easy, but it needs to be done. Why him? I ask finally, breaking the silence. Out of all the men in the world, why Mark? She looks down at the table, unable to meet my gaze. It just happened, she says weakly. I didn't plan it, I swear. It was just, we were at a party and we started talking and, I don't know, one thing led to another. One thing led to another, I repeat, the words like poison on my tongue. And you thought that was enough of a reason to destroy everything we've built together? Tears spill down her cheeks, but I don't feel any sympathy. Not anymore. I never wanted to hurt you, she sobs. I love you, I do, but I made a mistake. A terrible mistake. Yeah, you did, I say, leaning forward, my voice low and dangerous. But it's not just a mistake, Claire. It's a betrayal. You betrayed me. You betrayed our marriage. And you think you can just walk away from that? What do you want me to do? She asks, desperation in her voice. Tell me and I'll do it. I'll do anything to make this right. I study her, weighing my options. She's broken, shattered by guilt and fear. I could end it here, let her off the hook with a promise to never see Mark again. But that wouldn't be enough. Not for me. Not after what she's done. You're going to end things with Mark, I say slowly. But not like you think. You're going to do it my way. She nods eagerly, relief flooding her face. Yes, of course. I'll do whatever you want. Here's what you're going to do, I continue, my voice cold and calculated. You're going to call him. Right now. And you're going to tell him to meet you at our house tonight. Alone. She hesitates, confusion flickering across her face. Why? What are you going to do? That's none of your concern, I snap. Just do as I say. She swallows hard, then reaches for her phone. Her hands are shaking so badly that she nearly drops it. I watch as she scrolls through her contacts, finds his number, and presses the call button. She puts the phone to her ear, and I can hear the dial tone buzzing. "Mark?" she says when he answers, her voice wavering. Can you, can you meet me at the house tonight? Around 8? It's important." She listens for a moment, then nods. "Okay, I'll see you then." She hangs up, placing the phone back on the table with trembling fingers. I take another sip of my whiskey, letting the warmth spread through me. This is just the beginning. Tonight, Mark is going to learn what it feels like to have everything ripped away from him. When we get home, the tension is thick in the air. Claire is jittery, her eyes darting around as if she expects something terrible to happen at any moment. She's right to be afraid. I can feel the storm brewing inside me, the anger simmering just below the surface, waiting for the right moment to explode. I make her sit in the living room while I prepare. I don't need her hovering, asking questions I'm not ready to answer. I go upstairs to our bedroom, the place where so many of our intimate moments have unfolded, and start gathering what I need. A few ropes from the garage, duct tape from the utility drawer. I move with purpose, my mind focused on what has to be done. When I return downstairs, Claire is sitting on the couch, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. She looks up at me, fear and confusion etched on her face, but she doesn't say a word. I place the items on the coffee table and sit across from her, meeting her gaze. "This is how it's going to work," I say, my voice steady. "When Mark gets here, you're going to invite him in like nothing's wrong. You're going to lead him upstairs to our bedroom. And then we'll deal with him." "Deal with him?" she echoes, her voice shaking. "What does that mean?" "It means he's going to pay for what he's done," I say, my tone leaving no room for argument. "You're going to do exactly as I say, or this whole thing falls apart. Do you understand?" She nods, tears slipping down her cheeks. I understand. The hours crawl by as we wait for Mark to arrive. Claire paces the living room, her nerves fraying with each passing minute. I sit in silence, my thoughts focused on what's to come. This isn't just about revenge. It's about reclaiming control, about showing her that I won't be taken for a fool. When the doorbell rings, Claire jumps, her eyes wide with panic. I motion for her to stay calm, to follow the plan. She takes a deep breath, then walks to the door, her hand trembling as she reaches for the knob. "Hi, Mark," she says, her voice strained as she lets him in. Mark steps inside, his eyes scanning the room as if sensing something is off. But he doesn't see me, not yet. I'm standing in the shadows watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. "Claire, what's going on?" Mark asks, his voice filled with concern. "You sounded strange on the phone." "It's nothing," she says quickly, forcing a smile. "Let's just go upstairs. We need to talk." He hesitates, but then nods, following her up the stairs. I wait until they're halfway up before I move, my steps silent as I follow them. My heart is pounding in my chest, the adrenaline coursing through my veins. This is it, the moment of truth. When we reach the bedroom, Claire steps aside, letting Mark enter first. He walks into the room looking around, and that's when he sees me. His eyes widen in surprise and he starts to turn, but it's too late. I'm on him in an instant, grabbing him by the throat and shoving him against the wall. "What the hell?" he gasps, struggling to breathe as I tighten my grip. "Shut up," I hiss, my face inches from his. "You think you can just walk into my life and take what's mine? You think there won't be consequences?" He tries to speak, but I cut him off, slamming him against the wall again. Claire is standing frozen by the door, her face pale, her hands covering her mouth. She didn't expect this. Not the violence, not the rage, but she's going to witness every second of it. I force Mark into a chair, holding him down as I tie his hands behind his back. He struggles, but I'm stronger, fueled by a fury that won't be contained. Once he's secured, I step back, breathing heavily, my mind racing with possibilities. "What are you going to do?" Claire whispers, her voice trembling with fear. I turn to her, my eyes cold. "You're going to show him what he's lost," I say, my voice low and dangerous. "You're going to show him what he can never have again." She shakes her head, backing away, but I grab her wrist, pulling her towards me. Do it, I command, my grip tightening. Do it, or I swear to God, you'll regret it. Her eyes fill with tears, but she doesn't resist. She knows she has no choice. Slowly, hesitantly, she begins to undress, her movements mechanical, robotic. Mark watches, his eyes wide with horror and disbelief, but there's nothing he can do. I stand back watching the scene unfold, the satisfaction of control washing over me. This is what I wanted, to make him suffer, to make him see what he's lost. But as I watch, something shifts inside me. The satisfaction begins to fade, replaced by a hollow emptiness, a realization that this isn't the victory I thought it would be. Claire is crying softly as she undresses, her body trembling with fear and shame. And Mark just looks broken, defeated. The anger that fueled me moments ago starts to wane, leaving behind a gnawing sense of dread. What have I done? The thought echoes in my mind, but it's too late to turn back now. I've set this in motion, and there's no stopping it. The plan is in motion, and we're all trapped in it. Mark, Claire, and me. There's no escape, only the terrible, inevitable consequences of what I've started. Mark's eyes dart between Claire and me, his face pale with confusion and fear. He's still tied to the chair, helpless, his breath coming in quick, shallow gasps. I can see the panic in his eyes, the realization that this is far beyond anything he expected. He's trapped, just like Claire, just like me, and there's no going back. Let him go, Claire pleads, her voice shaking as she reaches out to touch my arm. Please, just let him go. We can figure this out, but not like this. I pull my arm away from her touch, my mind spinning. I want to hurt him. I want him to feel the same agony I felt ever since I found out. But as I look at Claire, standing there trembling, I feel a crack in my resolve. This isn't just about revenge anymore. It's about control, about proving that I'm still the one in charge of my life, my marriage, my world. But even as that thought crosses my mind, I feel the control slipping away, like sand through my fingers. The more I try to hold on to it, the faster it escapes. And in its place, there's only chaos, a dark and twisted chaos that threatens to consume everything. I step closer to Mark, my fists clenched at my sides. You think you can just walk into my life and take what's mine? I hiss. You think you can just waltz in here and destroy everything I've built? He shakes his head, his eyes wide with fear. I didn't mean... Shut up, I snap, my voice echoing in the room. You don't get to speak, not anymore. I turn to Claire, my gaze hard. Do you see what you've done? Do you see what your betrayal has brought us to? She's crying now, silent tears streaming down her face. She nods, but it's not enough. I need more. I need her to understand the depths of what she's done, the way she's shattered everything I thought we had. Do you think he loves you? I ask, my voice dripping with venom. Do you think he would stand by you if he knew what we're capable of? Claire shakes her head, her sobs growing louder. I'm sorry, she whispers. I'm so sorry. But her apology means nothing to me, not anymore. I glance at Mark, who's staring at Claire with a mixture of fear and desperation. He looks like a man who knows he's lost, who knows there's no way out of this alive. And that's when it hits me. This has gone too far. I've let my rage drive me to the brink of something I never wanted to become. I've let it turn me into someone who's capable of violence, of cruelty, of things I never thought possible. But even as I recognize that, I can't stop. I've come too far to back down now. I've crossed a line, and there's no turning back. Do you love him? I ask Claire, my voice low and dangerous. She hesitates, her eyes flicking to Mark before returning to me. No, she finally says, her voice barely a whisper. It wasn't about love. It was a mistake, a terrible mistake. Her words cut through me, sharp and painful, but there's no time to dwell on it. I have to see this through. I have to finish what I started. Untie him, I order, stepping back and giving her space. What? Claire stares at me, her face a mask of confusion. I said untie him. I repeat, my voice cold. We're going to finish this, but not like this. I want him to understand what he's done. I want him to feel the weight of his actions. Claire hesitates, but she knows better than to argue. She moves to Mark, her hands trembling as she works to undo the knots. Mark watches her, his eyes filled with a mix of fear and disbelief. As soon as his hands are free, Mark tries to stand, but I push him back down into the chair. Not so fast, I growl. We're not done here. He flinches but doesn't resist. He knows he's at my mercy, and he's smart enough to realize that any attempt to fight back would only make things worse. Why? I ask him, my voice steady, though inside I'm a mess of conflicting emotions. Why did you do it? Mark looks at me, his eyes filled with a mixture of fear and regret. I don't know, he says finally. It just happened. I didn't mean to hurt you. You didn't mean to hurt me? I repeat, incredulous. You didn't think that sleeping with my wife might hurt me? He shakes his head, but he knows there's no excuse, no justification for what he's done. He's just as trapped as I am, caught in a web of lies and deceit that we've all spun together. What do you want from me? Mark asks, his voice trembling. What do you want me to do? I stare at him, my mind racing. What do I want? I thought I wanted revenge, to make him pay for what he's done. But now that I'm here, standing over him, I realize that it won't change anything. It won't undo the betrayal, won't heal the wound that Claire's affair has opened in my heart. But I'm not ready to let him go either. Not yet. Not without making sure he understands the consequences of his actions. You're going to leave, I say finally, my voice low and firm. You're going to walk out of here and never come back. And if I ever see you near my wife again, if I even hear your name, I swear to God I'll make sure you regret it for the rest of your life. Mark nods, his face pale. I'll go. I promise. You'll never see me again. Gooder, I say, stepping back and letting him stand. Get out. Mark stumbles to his feet, his eyes darting nervously between Claire and me. He takes a step toward the door, then another, until he's gone, leaving us alone in the silence of the room. Claire is still standing there, her face streaked with tears, her body trembling. I can see the fear in her eyes, the uncertainty. She's waiting for me to say something, to do something, but I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Everything I thought I knew, everything I believed in, has been shattered, and I'm left standing in the wreckage of my life. Are you okay? She asked tentatively, her voice barely audible. I laugh, a harsh, bitter sound that echoes in the empty room. Am I okay? I repeat. No, Claire, I'm not okay. How could I be? She flinches at my words, but she doesn't respond. She just stands there waiting, as if expecting me to lash out at her, to punish her for what she's done. But I'm too tired, too drained to muster the energy for anger. All I feel is a deep, aching emptiness. What happens now? She asks after a long silence. I don't know, I admit. I don't know what happens now. We're both silent, the weight of the situation pressing down on us like a physical force. We're trapped in this moment, in this terrible reality that we've created together, and there's no easy way out. Finally, I turn away, unable to look at her anymore. I need some time, I say, my voice flat. I need to think. She nods, understanding, but she doesn't move. She's still waiting, still hoping for something from me. A sign that we can get through this, that we can somehow fix what's been broken. But I don't have any answers, not for her, not for myself. I walk out of the room, out of the house, into the cool night air. The darkness feels like a balm, soothing the raw edges of my emotions, numbing the pain. I don't know where I'm going, only that I need to get away, to clear my head, to figure out what comes next. I walk for hours, lost in thought, replaying the events of the night over and over in my mind. The anger, the fear, the betrayal, they swirl together in a toxic mix, threatening to overwhelm me. But beneath it all, there's something else, something darker and more dangerous. The realization that I've crossed a line, that I've done something I can never take back. When I finally return home, the house is quiet, dark, Claire is asleep on the couch, her face peaceful in the dim light. I stand there for a moment, watching her, wondering how we got here, how everything went so wrong. But there are no answers, only questions, and the weight of them is crushing. I turn away, heading upstairs to our bedroom, the place that was once a sanctuary, but now feels like a prison. I lie down on the bed, staring up at the ceiling, my mind racing with thoughts I can't control. Sleep doesn't come easily, but eventually exhaustion wins out, pulling me into a restless, troubled slumber. And when I wake, the sun streaming through the windows, the events of the night before come rushing back with a painful clarity. Claire is still downstairs, her presence a heavy reminder of everything that's happened. I can hear her moving around, the clatter of dishes in the kitchen, the sound of her footsteps on the hardwood floor. It's all too normal, too mundane, given the chaos that's taken over our lives. I force myself to get up, to go downstairs to face her. We can't avoid this forever. We have to talk to figure out what happens next, even if neither of us wants to. She looks up when I enter the kitchen, her eyes red and puffy from crying. "Good morning," she says softly, her voice tentative, as if she's afraid of saying the wrong thing. "Morning," I reply, my voice flat. I don't know what else to say. The words feel heavy, awkward, like they don't belong in this new reality we're living in. We sit at the table, a silence stretching between us, thick and uncomfortable. I can't bring myself to look at her, to meet her gaze. There's too much pain, too much betrayal, and I don't know how to deal with it. "I'm sorry," she says again, her voice barely above a whisper. "I never wanted any of this." "I know," I say, but the words feel hollow. What does it matter now? The damage is done. "What do we do now?" she asks, her voice trembling with fear and uncertainty. "I don't know," I admit. "I just don't know." We're both lost, adrift in this sea of confusion and pain, and there's no clear path forward. The future we once envisioned, the life we planned together, has been shattered, and we're left standing in the ruins, trying to pick up the pieces. But even as I say the words, I know that we can't stay in this limbo forever. We have to make a choice to decide whether we'll try to rebuild or walk away. And that's the hardest part, knowing that whatever decision we make, nothing will ever be the same again. "I need time," I say finally, my voice heavy with the weight of the truth. "I need time to figure this out." She nods, tears welling up in her eyes, but she doesn't argue. She understands. We both do. I stand up, the chair scraping against the floor with a harsh sound that echoes in the silence. "I'm going for a walk," I say, needing to escape, to clear my head. She nods again, her gaze fixed on the table. I can see the pain in her eyes, the regret, but I can't bring myself to comfort her. Not yet, maybe not ever. As I walk out the door, the weight of everything bears down on me, threatening to crush me. I don't know what the future holds. Don't know if we'll survive this, if we can ever find our way back to each other. But one thing is clear. The road ahead is long, and it's going to be filled with darkness, with doubt, with the shadow of everything that's happened. And as I step out into the cool morning air, I know that nothing will ever be the same again. The air is thick with tension, the kind that makes your skin prickle and your breath catch in your throat. I didn't expect it to go this far. I thought I had control, but I've lost it somewhere along the way. And now I'm standing in the middle of a storm I created, and I can't find a way out. Mark's gone, but the weight of what I've done lingers in the house like a bad smell. Claire hasn't said much since that night. We move around each other like ghosts, careful not to touch, not to speak more than necessary. It's as if we both know that saying anything might bring the whole fragile situation crashing down around us. But the silence is unbearable, and I can feel something inside me snapping, the last threads of sanity fraying. I should feel triumphant. I've won, haven't I? Mark's out of our lives, and Claire is still here, still mine. But all I feel is emptiness, a hollow echo of the man I used to be. I go to work, but my focus is shot. I can't concentrate, can't make sense of the tasks that used to come so easily. My colleagues notice, but they don't ask questions. Maybe they see the shadows under my eyes, the tension in my shoulders, and decide it's best to leave me alone. I'm grateful for it. I don't know how I'd explain any of this, even if I wanted to. One evening after a particularly long and grueling day, I come home to find Claire sitting at the kitchen table, a glass of wine in her hand. She's staring at it like she's seeing something I can't. She doesn't look up when I walk in, doesn't acknowledge my presence. I stand there for a moment, unsure of what to do, before I finally speak. Claire? She flinches at the sound of my voice, but she doesn't look at me. I can't do this anymore, she says softly. So softly I almost don't hear her. What do you mean? My heart pounds in my chest, a slow, heavy thud that echoes in my ears. She finally looks up, her eyes red and swollen. I can't live like this. I can't keep pretending that everything is okay. It's not. Nothing is okay. I don't know what to say to that, because she's right. Nothing is okay, but I don't want to admit it. Admitting it means facing what I've done, facing the fact that I've destroyed the life we had, and I'm not sure I can handle that. We can get through this, I say. But even as the words leave my mouth, I know how hollow they sound. She shakes her head, a small sad smile on her lips. I don't think we can, not after what's happened. Her words cut deep, sharper than any knife, but I try to push the pain down, to keep it buried where it can't hurt me. We just need time, I say, desperation creeping into my voice. We can work through this. Can we? She sounds so tired, so defeated. Because I don't see how. I don't even know who you are anymore. Her words hang in the air, and I feel the ground shifting beneath my feet. I don't know who I am anymore either. I don't recognize the man I've become, the man who could do the things I've done, but I don't want to lose her. I can't lose her. If I lose Claire, I lose everything. We'll figure it out, I say, but even as I speak, I can feel the truth slipping away from me. There's nothing left to figure out. We're standing on the edge of a precipice, and I don't know how to stop us from falling. I need to go, she says suddenly, standing up so quickly that her chair scrapes against the floor with a harsh sound. I need some space. Panic grips me. Where will you go? I don't know, she says, grabbing her purse and heading for the door. I just need to get out of here. Clear my head. I reach out, grabbing her arm. Don't leave, I plead, my voice breaking. Please, Claire, don't leave. She looks at me, and for a moment, I see a flicker of the woman I fell in love with, the woman I built my life with. But it's just a flicker, and then it's gone, replaced by the cold, hard truth of what we've become. I'll be back, she says, but the words don't comfort me. They feel like a lie, a promise she doesn't intend to keep. She pulls her arm free and walks out the door, leaving me standing in the kitchen, alone with my thoughts. The house is too quiet without her. I walk through the rooms, each one filled with memories of a life that feels like it belongs to someone else. I end up in our bedroom, the bed still unmade from that morning, her scent lingering in the sheets. I lie down, burying my face in her pillow, but the emptiness inside me only grows. Hours pass, but she doesn't come back. I call her phone, but it goes straight to voicemail. I leave messages, my voice trembling as I beg her to come home, but there's no response. The panic builds inside me, a tidal wave of fear that threatens to drown me. What if she doesn't come back? What if this is the end? I can't just sit here and wait. I need to find her, to bring her home, to make her see that we can fix this. I grab my keys and head out into the night, the darkness pressing in on me as I drive through the streets, searching for any sign of her. But she's gone. I drive for hours circling the city, but there's no trace of her. I don't know where she's gone, don't know how to find her, and the longer I search, the more the fear grows, twisting into something darker, something more dangerous. I can't lose her. I can't. But the thought keeps pounding in my head, a relentless drumbeat that won't let me rest. And as the hours slip by, I feel something inside me snap, a cold, hard resolve settling in my chest. If she won't come back on her own, I'll make her come back. I'll do whatever it takes to keep her. Because without her, I'm nothing. Without her, My life has no meaning. When I finally return home, the house is still empty, but I don't feel the panic anymore. I feel calm, eerily calm, as I start to make a plan. I'll find her. I'll bring her back. And we'll be together the way we were always meant to be. I spend the next few days searching for her, but she's careful, too careful. She's staying with a friend, someone who's keeping her hidden, keeping her safe from me. But I'm patient. I can wait. I'll find her eventually, and then I get a call. It's from Mark's wife, the one I dragged into this mess, the one I thought I could trust. But there's something in her voice, a nervousness that sets me on edge. "We need to talk," she says, her voice trembling. "It's about Claire." "What about her?" I ask, my grip tightening on the phone. "Just meet me," she says. "There's something you need to know." I don't trust her, but I don't have a choice. If she knows something about Claire, I need to find out. I agree to meet her at a cafe on the other side of town, a quiet place where we won't be disturbed. When I arrive, she's already there, sitting at a table in the back, her hands wrapped around a cup of coffee. She looks up when she sees me, her eyes wide with fear. "What's going on?" I ask, sitting down across from her. She takes a deep breath, glancing around nervously before she speaks. "Claire came to me," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. "She's scared of you. She's thinking of going to the police." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. "What are you talking about?" "She thinks you're going to hurt her," she says, her eyes pleading with me to understand. "She doesn't feel safe with you anymore." "I would never hurt her," I say, my voice trembling with anger. "You know that." But even as I say the words, I feel the lie in them, because I have hurt her, haven't I? Not physically, but in every other way that matters. I've torn our life apart, driven her away with my obsession, my need for control. "I don't know what to do," she says, her voice breaking. "I just want this to be over. I want my life back." I look at her, and I see the fear in her eyes, the same fear I saw in Claire's eyes that night. And for the first time, I see myself through their eyes, angry, unstable, dangerous. I've become the very thing I feared, the thing I never wanted to be. "What do you want from me?" I ask, my voice hollow. She hesitates, then leans in closer, her voice barely audible. "You need to let her go. Let her live her life without you. It's the only way this ends." Her words cut deep, but I know she's right. I've been holding on too tight, trying to control something that can't be controlled, and in doing so, I've destroyed the very thing I was trying to protect. But I don't know how to let go. I don't know how to walk away from the only thing that's ever mattered to me. The thought of losing Claire, of living without her, is unbearable. "I can't," I say, my voice breaking. "I can't let her go." She reaches across the table, placing her hand on mine. "You have to." Before it's too late, I pull my hand away, the fear and anger rising inside me like a storm. "You don't understand. I need her. I can't live without her." "But you're not living with her," she says gently. "Not really. And if you keep going down this path, you're going to lose everything." I know she's right, but the truth is too painful to accept. I can't let go, can't walk away. Not yet. Not when there's still a chance, however small, that I can fix this. "I need to find her," I say, standing up abruptly. "I need to talk to her." But she shakes her head, a look of sadness in her eyes. "Don't. Please, just let her be." I ignore her, my mind already racing with plans, with ideas of how to find Claire, how to bring her back. I don't see the point in continuing this conversation. I don't need anyone's advice. I need results. As I walk out of the cafe, I feel the weight of everything pressing down on me, but I push it aside. There's no time for doubt, no time for second guessing. I've made my choice, and now I have to see it through. I spend the next few days scouring the city, calling in favors, trying to track down any leads that might lead me to Claire. But she's careful, too careful. She's gone to ground, and she's not coming back unless I bring her back. The desperation grows inside me, a dark, festering thing that consumes every thought, every moment. I can't eat, can't sleep, Can't focus on anything but finding her, bringing her back to where she belongs. And then, late one night, I get a call. It's an anonymous number, but I answer it anyway, hoping against hope that it's her. Hello? I say, my heart pounding in my chest. There's a long pause and then a voice I don't recognize speaks. If you want to see your wife again, you'll do exactly as I say. The words send a chill down my spine, a cold, creeping dread that settles deep in my gut. Who is this? That's not important, the voice says. What's important is that you listen carefully. If you don't, you'll never see Claire again. The world narrows to a single point, my entire being focused on the voice on the other end of the line. What do you want? Come to the old warehouse on the outskirts of town. Come alone. And don't try anything stupid. The line goes dead, leaving me standing there in the darkness. The phone still pressed to my ear. My mind races, trying to make sense of what just happened, trying to figure out if this is real or if I'm being played. But there's no time to think, no time to question. I have to go. I have to find her. As I drive through the darkened streets, the weight of what's happening bears down on me. I've pushed too far, gone too deep, and now there's no way out. I've dragged us both into a nightmare, and I don't know how to wake up. The warehouse looms ahead, a dark, hulking shape against the night sky. I park the car and step out, my heart pounding in my chest, my mind a whirlwind of fear and determination. I step inside, the darkness closing in around me. And as I take the first step into the unknown, I know that nothing will ever be the same again. The warehouse is dark, the kind of darkness that seeps into your bones and makes you feel like you're being swallowed whole. I can barely see a few feet in front of me, but I press on, the need to find Claire driving me forward. My footsteps echo against the concrete floor, each one a reminder of how alone I am in this place. I've been here before, years ago, when this part of town was still alive with industry. Now it's a graveyard, a shell of what it used to be, filled with nothing but shadows and ghosts. I'm not sure what I expected when I answered that call, but this place feels wrong, like a trap, and yet I can't turn back. Not now. Claire, I call out, my voice bouncing off the walls. It sounds small, weak, like a child's cry in the night. There's no answer, just the oppressive silence pressing down on me. My heart pounds in my chest, each beat a painful reminder that I'm running out of time. Then I hear it, a faint sound, like a whisper of movement somewhere ahead. I freeze, straining to listen, trying to pinpoint where it's coming from. There's a flicker of light in the distance, barely more than a glimmer, but it's enough. I move toward it, my steps careful, measured. The last thing I need is to alert whoever's here that I'm coming. The light grows brighter as I get closer, and I can make out a shape now, a figure standing in the middle of the room. My heart leaps into my throat when I realize it's Claire. She's tied to a chair, her head slumped forward, her hair hanging like a curtain around her face. I can't tell if she's conscious, but the sight of her like this sends a jolt of fear through me. Claire, I whisper, moving faster now, urgency propelling me forward. I'm here. I'm going to get you out of here. But as I reach her, I see it, the blood. It's pooling around her feet, dark and thick, and for a moment I can't breathe. Panic claws at my throat as I drop to my knees in front of her, my hands trembling as I reach out to touch her. Claire, please, wake up, I beg, my voice breaking. I shake her gently, but she doesn't respond. Her skin is cold, too cold, and I can feel the life draining out of me along with her. I can't lose her, not like this. I'm about to untie her when I hear a sound behind me, a slow, deliberate clap. My blood runs cold as I turn to see Mark's wife stepping out of the shadows, a twisted smile on her face. Bravo, she says, her voice dripping with mockery. You really do know how to put on a show. What the hell is this? I demand, my voice shaking with a mix of anger and fear. What did you do to her? She raises an eyebrow as if amused by my panic. I didn't do anything, darling. You did. You drove her to this. I blink, trying to make sense of her words. What are you talking about? I didn't. She's been like this for hours, she says, cutting me off. You think she came here willingly? You think she wanted to see you after everything you've done? I stare at her, my mind racing. None of this makes sense. I came here to save Claire, but now it feels like I'm the one who needs saving. You're lying, I say, my voice low and dangerous. You're trying to twist this around, make me believe it's my fault. She steps closer, her smile widening. Isn't it? You've been so obsessed with controlling her, with keeping her under your thumb, that you never stopped to think about what she wanted. You pushed her away, and now look where that's gotten you. I shake my head, refusing to believe her. No, she loves me. She wanted to come back. Did she? She laughs, a cruel, hollow sound that echoes in the empty space. Or did you just convince yourself of that because it's easier than facing the truth? I look at Claire, still slumped in the chair, her breath shallow and weak. The truth. What is the truth anymore? I can't tell, not with everything so tangled up, so twisted. What do you want? I ask, desperation creeping into my voice. Why are you doing this? She tilts her head, considering me with a cold, calculating gaze. I want what you took from me. My life, my husband, my happiness. You destroyed all of that, and now it's your turn to feel the same. Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. I thought I was in control, thought I was the one pulling the strings, but I was wrong, so wrong. I was just a pawn in her game, and now she's winning. But you can fix it, she says, her tone turning almost sweet. There's a way out of this, but you have to make a choice. I stare at her, my mind spinning. What choice? She gestures to Claire, her smile fading. You can walk away, leave her here, let her die, and this all ends. No one will ever know what happened. Or you can save her, but if you do, there will be consequences. You'll lose everything. I feel like I'm drowning, the weight of her words pulling me under. Leave Claire? Let her die? I can't even fathom it. But the alternative, what does she mean by consequences? What am I willing to sacrifice to save her? You're insane, I say, my voice trembling with anger. I'm not leaving her. I won't let you win. She shrugs as if it doesn't matter to her either way. Your choice, but remember, every action has a consequence. You might think you're doing the right thing, but are you ready to live with the fallout? I turn back to Claire, my heart breaking at the sight of her like this. I can't leave her. I won't. I reach for the ropes binding her to the chair, my fingers working quickly to free her. She doesn't move, doesn't react, and that terrifies me more than anything else. Hang on, Claire, I whisper. I'm going to get you out of here. But even as I say the words, I can feel the cold fingers of doubt wrapping around my heart. Is this the right thing to do? Or am I just playing into her hands, falling into a trap I can't escape? The ropes come loose and I gather Claire into my arms, her body limp and unresponsive. I stand, my legs shaking as I turn to face Mark's wife. I'm taking her to a hospital, I say, my voice steady despite the fear clawing at my insides. And if you try to stop me, I swear to God. She holds up a hand, cutting me off. I'm not going to stop you. Go ahead, take her. But remember what I said. This isn't over. I don't wait for her to say anything else. I turn and carry Claire out of the warehouse, my heart pounding in my chest. I can feel her breath against my neck, shallow and weak, but she's alive. That's all that matters. The night air hits me like a slap to the face, cold and bracing, but I don't stop. I head straight for my car, laying Claire gently in the back seat before sliding behind the wheel. My hands are shaking so badly that I can barely get the keys into the ignition, but I finally manage to start the car and peel out of the parking lot. I drive like a man possessed, my eyes flicking constantly to the rearview mirror, half expecting to see Mark's wife following me. But there's nothing, just the empty road stretching out in front of me. As I drive, I keep talking to Claire, my voice barely above a whisper. Hang in there, baby. We're almost there. Just hold on for me. I don't know if she can hear me. Don't know if my words are reaching her through the haze of whatever hell she's going through. But I have to keep talking. It's the only thing keeping me from losing my mind completely. The hospital comes into view, and I feel a surge of relief so intense that it nearly brings me to my knees. I pull up to the emergency entrance, jumping out of the car and yelling for help. Nurses and doctors rush out, taking Claire from me, their faces grave as they assess her condition. I follow them inside, my heart in my throat, as they wheel her into a room. They won't let me go in with her, so I'm left standing in the hallway, my hands trembling, my mind racing. I should call someone, but who? There's no one left to call. No one who can help. Minutes feel like hours as I pace the hallway, the antiseptic smell of the hospital filling my lungs, making it hard to breathe. Finally, a doctor comes out, his expression serious. "She's stable," he says, and I nearly collapse with relief. "But she's been through a lot. We'll need to keep her here for observation." "Can I see her?" I ask, my voice rough with emotion. He nods, but his eyes are full of questions. Questions I'm not ready to answer. "Just for a few minutes." "She needs rest." I follow him into the room, my heart pounding as I see Claire lying in the bed. So small, so fragile. She's hooked up to monitors, the soft beeping of the machines, the only sound in the room. "Claire," I whisper, sitting down beside her and taking her hand in mine. "I'm here." "I'm right here." Her eyes flutter open, and for a moment, I see a flicker of recognition. But then it's gone, replaced by a blank stare that sends a chill down my spine. "She's going to be okay," the doctor says, but his words don't reach me. I'm too focused on Claire, on the way she's looking at me like she doesn't know who I am. I stay with her for as long as they'll let me, but eventually they make me leave. I stand outside the hospital, the weight of everything pressing down on me, suffocating me. I did the right thing, didn't I? I saved her. But why does it feel like I've lost everything? The next few days are a blur. Claire stays in the hospital, and I'm there every day watching over her, waiting for her to wake up, to recognize me, to tell me that everything will be okay. But she doesn't. She's there, but she's not there. It's like a part of her is missing, and I don't know how to bring it back. And then, just when I think things can't get any worse, they do. I get a call, not from the hospital, but from the police. They want to talk to me about Mark's wife, about what happened that night at the warehouse. I can hear the suspicion in their voices, can feel the walls closing in around me. The panic sets in, a cold, hard fear that grips me and won't let go. I thought I was careful, thought I covered my tracks, but maybe I wasn't. Maybe I left something behind, something that will lead them straight to me. I go to the station, trying to keep my cool, trying to act like I have nothing to hide. But I can see it in their eyes, the way they look at me like they know something I don't. They ask me questions, too many questions, and I can feel the noose tightening around my neck. I give them answers, but I don't know if they believe me. I don't know if I believe myself anymore. They let me go, but the threat hangs over me like a storm cloud, ready to burst at any moment. I return to the hospital, to Claire, but things are different now. There's a tension in the air, a feeling that something is about to snap. I try to talk to her, to reach her, but she's slipping further away from me, and I don't know how to hold on. And then, one day she's gone. I come to the hospital, but her bed is empty. The nurse tells me she checked herself out, that she didn't leave any message, didn't say where she was going. Panic floods me, and I rush out of the hospital, my mind racing. Where could she be? Why would she leave? I search everywhere, but there's no sign of her, no trace. She's vanished, like a ghost, and I'm left standing in the wreckage of my life, wondering how it all went so wrong. I know I have to find her, have to bring her back, but the more I search, the more hopeless it feels. She's gone, and with her, the last piece of my sanity. The police are still circling, the pressure building, and I can feel myself slipping further into the darkness. I thought I could control everything, thought I could keep everything together, but I was wrong. I've lost Claire, lost myself, And now I'm standing on the edge of a precipice, staring into the abyss. And as the darkness closes in, I realize that there's no way out. Not for me, not for Claire. This is the end of the road, and I'm too far gone to turn back. The police call me again. This time they aren't just asking questions. They want me to come down to the station. My heart pounds in my chest as I hang up the phone, sweat breaking out on my forehead. It's happening. The walls are closing in, and I can feel it. Every move I've made, every decision, it's all led to this moment. And now I have to face it. I sit in the car outside the station, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turn white. I don't know what they have on me, what they know, but I can't avoid it any longer. I've spent too much time running, hiding, trying to keep the pieces of my life from falling apart. But it's no use. It's all unraveling, and I'm standing in the middle of the wreckage, powerless to stop it. Inside the station, the air is thick with tension. The officers barely look at me as they lead me to an interrogation room, their expressions cold, detached. They've seen people like me before, men who thought they could control everything, only to have it all come crashing down. I sit across from two detectives, their eyes sharp, assessing. They don't say anything at first, just watch me, waiting for me to crack. I can feel the pressure building, the weight of their gaze heavy on my shoulders. But I won't break, not yet. "You know why you're here," one of them finally says, his voice flat. I swallow hard, nodding slightly. I assume it's about Mark. "It's about a lot of things," the other detective replies, leaning forward. "We've been looking into his disappearance, and your wife's. Seems there's a lot you haven't told us." I fight to keep my expression neutral, but inside I'm spiraling. Claire's gone, vanished without a trace, and now they're tying it all together. They're putting the pieces in place, and I'm at the center of it all. "I don't know where she is," I say, my voice tight. "I've been looking for her too." "Is that so?" The first detective tilts his head, skeptical. "You see, we've been talking to people. Mark's wife, for one. She's been very helpful." A cold shiver runs down my spine. Mark's wife, of course, she's the one who's been pulling the strings, the one who set all of this in motion. And now she's feeding them whatever they need to hear to make their case against me. "She's lying," I say, desperation creeping into my voice. "She's trying to set me up." The detectives exchange a glance, and I know they don't believe me. Why would they? I've been caught in my own web of lies, and now it's strangling me. "We know about the warehouse," the second detective says, his tone deadly serious. "We know you were there that night. We have witnesses who saw you." My stomach drops. The warehouse. The night I found Claire, I thought I was careful, thought I covered my tracks, but it wasn't enough. It's never enough. "I was trying to save her," I say, my voice shaking. "I didn't do anything wrong. I just wanted to bring her home." "And what about Mark?" The first detective's voice is sharp, accusatory. "What happened to him?" I open my mouth, but the words stick in my throat. I can't tell them the truth, can't admit what really happened. But I can't lie either. They'll see right through me. I'm trapped, cornered, with no way out. "Where is he?" the second detective presses. "What did you do to him?" "I didn't." My voice falters, and I realize there's no escape from this. The truth is out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting to destroy me. "I didn't kill him, if that's what you're asking." The detective's eyes narrow. "But you know what happened to him." I can't answer. My mind races, trying to find a way out, but there's nothing. No escape, no redemption. I've lost everything, and now it's only a matter of time before they take what's left. The silence stretches on, heavy and oppressive. They're waiting for me to crack, to spill everything, but I can't, I won't. The only thing I have left is my dignity, and even that's hanging by a thread. Finally, the first detective sighs, leaning back in his chair. "We're giving you a chance to come clean. Tell us what happened, and maybe we can help you. But if you keep stonewalling us, it's only going to get worse." I stare at him, my mind a whirlwind of fear and regret. I know they're right. I know I should tell them everything, lay it all out and hope for some semblance of mercy. But I can't bring myself to do it. Not yet. Not when there's still a chance, however slim, that I can salvage something from the wreckage of my life. I need a lawyer, I say finally, my voice barely above a whisper. The detectives exchange another glance, but they don't press me. They know they have got me cornered, and it's only a matter of time before I break. They nod, signaling for the officer to escort me out of the room. As I'm led back to the holding cell, the weight of everything crashes down on me. I've lost Claire, I've lost my freedom, and now I'm losing my mind. The walls close in, the silence deafening, and I realize there's no escape from this. No way out. The trial is a blur. My lawyer tries to defend me, but the evidence is overwhelming. Mark's wife testifies against me, painting a picture of a man driven mad by jealousy and obsession. She's convincing, and I can see the jury buying into her story. My story, my truth, is buried under a mountain of lies and half-truths. Claire doesn't show up. She's disappeared and no one knows where she is. The police have searched, but they found nothing. It's like she's vanished off the face of the earth, leaving me to face the consequences alone. The verdict comes quickly. Guilty. The word echoes in my head, a final nail in the coffin of my life. I'm sentenced to prison, and as the gavel falls, I know there's no coming back from this. I've lost everything. My wife, my freedom, my sanity. Prison is a living hell. The days blur together, a monotonous routine of survival. I keep to myself, avoiding the other inmates, but it doesn't matter. They know who I am, what I've done. They look at me with a mixture of contempt and pity, like I'm some kind of pathetic animal trapped in a cage of my own making. I try to hold on to my memories of Claire, but even those start to slip away. Her face, her voice, the way she used to look at me with love and trust. It's all fading, replaced by the cold, hard reality of my cell. The walls close in, the darkness suffocating, and I realize that I'm losing myself piece by piece. One day I'm called to the warden's office. It's unusual, and I can feel the tension in the air as I'm escorted through the corridors. The warden is waiting for me, his expression grim, and I know something's wrong. He hands me a letter, and as I open it, my heart stops. It's from Claire. The handwriting is shaky, almost unrecognizable, but it's hers. She's alive. The letter is short, just a few lines, but it's enough. She's somewhere far away, somewhere I can't reach her. She's safe, but she doesn't say where she is, doesn't say if she'll ever come back. The words are cold, distant, like she's already made up her mind to leave me behind. I crumble to the floor, the letter clutched in my hands. The last thread of hope snaps, and I'm left with nothing. She's gone, really gone, and I'm alone, trapped in a prison of my own making, with no way out. The warden watches me, his eyes filled with something like pity, but I don't care. I can't care. All I can think about is Claire, out there somewhere, living a life without me, a life that I'll never be a part of. As the days turn into weeks, then months, I fall deeper into the abyss. The world outside my cell fades away, and I'm left with nothing but my thoughts, my regrets. I thought I could control everything, thought I could keep Claire with me no matter what. But I was wrong, so wrong. The darkness inside me grows, festering like a wound that won't heal. I start to lose track of time, of reality. The days blend together, a never-ending cycle of despair. I don't eat, don't sleep. I just sit in my cell, staring at the walls, waiting for the end. And then one night, as I lie on the cold, hard cot, I realize there's only one way out. One way to end the pain, the guilt, the endless torment of my own mind. I've lost everything, and there's nothing left to fight for, nothing left to live for. I stand, the decision made, and for the first time in months, I feel a strange sense of peace. The end is near, and I welcome it. I walk to the bars of my cell, looking out into the darkness beyond, and I know what I have to do. The guards won't find me until morning, and by then, it will be too late. The pain will be over, and I'll finally be free. Free from the guilt, the regret, the memories of a life I destroyed with my own hands. As I prepare to take that final step, I think of Claire, of the life we could have had, the life I threw away. I wonder if she'll remember me, if she'll ever think of the man I used to be before it all went wrong. But it doesn't matter. None of it matters anymore. And with that thought, I let go, stepping into the darkness, finally free from the chains that have bound me for so long. I sit in my cell, staring at the cold, gray walls that have become my world. The dim light casts long shadows, and I can almost feel the weight of my decisions pressing down on me, suffocating me. The days bleed into each other, indistinguishable and endless, and I'm left with nothing but my thoughts, my regrets, and the knowledge that I've lost everything that ever mattered. There's no one to blame but myself. I know that now. I was so consumed by my need for control, my desire to punish those who wronged me, that I destroyed the very thing I was trying to protect. Claire, she's gone, out there somewhere, living a life without me, and I'll never see her again. It's a pain that cuts deeper than anything I've ever known, but it's a pain I deserve. I think about her constantly, replaying every moment we had together, every decision that led us here. It's like a broken record, playing the same haunting melody over and over in my mind. I see her smile, hear her laugh, feel her touch, but it's all just a memory now, a ghost of a life I threw away. The trial feels like a distant nightmare, something that happened to someone else. The courtroom, the witnesses, the verdict, it's all a blur. I barely remember the faces of the people who testified against me, who laid bare all my sins for the world to see. Mark's wife, the detectives, even my lawyer, they're just shadows in my mind, their voices drowned out by the relentless pounding of my own guilt. And yet there's a strange sense of relief in all of this. I've been stripped of everything, my freedom, my dignity, my future, and in that stripping away, I'm left with nothing but the truth. The truth that I was the architect of my own destruction. That I let my obsession, my fear of losing Claire, turn me into someone I didn't recognize. Someone she didn't recognize. But what does that truth matter now? The damage is done, and there's no going back. I've played my part in this tragedy, and now I'm just waiting for the final curtain to fall. The guards are a constant presence, watching, waiting, but they don't speak to me much. I think they can see the darkness in my eyes, the emptiness that's settled in my soul. They treat me like a dead man walking, and maybe that's what I am. Just going through the motions, counting the days until the inevitable end. One night, I'm woken by the sound of my cell door clanging open. The guards stand there, their faces unreadable as they tell me I have a visitor. It's unexpected, almost surreal. Who would visit me now, after everything? I don't have any family left, no friends who would want to see me, but I follow them, curiosity gnawing at the edges of my despair. I'm led to a small room, bare except for a table and two chairs. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead, casting a harsh, unforgiving light on everything. I sit down, my hands cuffed to the table, my heart pounding with a mix of fear and anticipation. And then, the door opens and she walks in. Claire. For a moment, I can't breathe. She looks different, older somehow, but still so achingly familiar. Her hair is shorter, her face thinner, but those eyes, those same eyes that I fell in love with, are the same. She stands there just looking at me, and I see a flicker of something in her gaze. Pity, maybe. Or is it something else? I can't tell. Claire, I whisper, my voice cracking with emotion. She holds up a hand, stopping me before I can say anything more. She takes a seat across from me, her movements slow, deliberate. For a long time, neither of us speaks. The silence stretches between us, heavy with everything we've lost. Finally, she breaks the silence. I wanted to see you, she says, her voice calm, controlled. I needed to see you. I swallow hard, the weight of her words settling over me like a shroud. Why? Why now? She sighs, looking down at her hands, which are folded neatly on the table. I don't know, she admits. Maybe I needed closure. Maybe I just needed to see for myself if you were still you. The words cut deep, but I force myself to meet her gaze. I'm not the man you knew, I say, the truth of it bitter on my tongue. I don't know who I am anymore. She nods slowly, as if she already knew that. Neither do I. The pain in her voice is like a knife to my heart, and I realize that I've hurt her in ways I never imagined. I thought I was protecting her, saving her, but all I did was destroy the life we built together. And for what? A twisted sense of justice? A need to control something I never could? I'm sorry, I say, the words tumbling out before I can stop them. I'm so sorry, Claire, for everything. She closes her eyes and I can see the tears welling up, but she doesn't let them fall. I know, she says quietly. But it doesn't change anything. I nod, my throat tight with unshed tears. I know. I needed to say it. We sit there in silence for a while longer, the weight of everything unsaid pressing down on us. I want to reach out to her, to take her hand, to feel some connection to the life we once had. But I know I can't. That life is gone, and all that's left is this cold, empty room and the broken man sitting across from her. Where will you go? I ask, my voice barely more than a whisper. She looks at me, her eyes filled with a sadness that breaks me all over again. I don't know, she says, but I have to go. I can't stay here, not after everything that's happened. I nod, understanding. I knew this was coming, knew that there was no future for us no matter how much I wanted to believe otherwise. But hearing her say it, knowing that she's really leaving, it shatters the last fragile piece of my heart. I hope you find peace, I say, the words choking me. She stands up looking down at me one last time. I hope you do too, she says softly. And then she's gone, leaving me alone in the cold, sterile room, the sound of her footsteps echoing in my mind. I don't know how long I sit there staring at the empty chair where she sat, but eventually the guards come to take me back to my cell. The walk back feels longer, heavier, like I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. And maybe I am. Back in my cell, I lie on the cot, staring up at the ceiling, trying to make sense of everything. But there's no sense to be made. I've lost Claire, lost myself, lost everything that ever mattered. And now I'm just waiting for the end, whatever that may be. Days turn into weeks, and I fall into a routine, the monotony of prison life dulling the sharp edges of my pain. But the memories never fade, never leave me. They haunt me, taunt me, reminding me of what I had, what I lost. And I realize that this is my punishment, my penance for everything I've done. One day I wake up with a strange sense of clarity. I know what I have to do. I have to let go of Claire, of the past, of everything that's been holding me back. It's the only way I'll ever find peace, the only way I'll ever be free. I write her a letter, the words pouring out of me like a confession. I tell her everything, my regrets, my mistakes, my love for her that never wavered, even as I lost myself. I tell her that I'm letting her go, that I want her to be happy, to find the life she deserves. And then I seal it, knowing it's the last thing I'll ever send her. I don't know what the future holds. I don't even know if I have a future. But as I stand at the edge of the darkness, I feel something I haven't felt in a long time, a sense of acceptance, of resignation. I've made my choices, and now I have to live with them. As I walk back to my cell, I realize that I'm ready to face whatever comes next, whether it's justice or something else. I'm not afraid anymore. I've already lost everything, and in that loss, I've found a strange sense of peace. The door to my cell closes behind me, and I sit down on the cot, feeling the weight of the silence settle over me. I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I know that I'm finally ready to face it. And as I close my eyes, I take a deep breath, letting go of the past, of the pain, of everything that's held me captive for so long. Whatever comes next, I'm ready.